Thanks, Michael. I'm here at the main entrance to Highfield Theatre. You know, this spot, many years ago, was a barn. It was part of the Beebe estate next to Highfield Hall, and it was the summer residence of the Beebe family. Today, for more than 50 years, it's been the loving home of the Falmouth Theatre Guild. And like so many other organizations, they could not have performances during the pandemic. So what they decided to do was have a performance of their own and do a complete and loving renovation of this beautiful community theater spot. So today they're hosting an open house, and we get to go in and show you the renovations of the Falmouth Theatre Guild. So come on, let's take a look. Brett, you are now the president of the Falmouth Theatre Guild, this amazing nonprofit that brings joy to people from all over the world. And so we're here in this beautiful, newly renovated theater with the audience to our backs. Tell us about this project and what it means to the FTG.
Okay, well, to start with, we decided to use our downtime most efficiently since we couldn't do shows. We were like, let's let the theater be our show and do a new set design, costume design, whatever you want to call it, or, you know, redesigning of the look in the theater. And we can start with the audience area here. We went with new wall colors, and it's the same color all over. It was a couple different colors in the previous look. Went with a light gray called Silvery Moon. Redid the cornice colors over the panels, the wall panels there with a maroon. Painted the floor, which had not been painted, I believe, since the chairs were taken out and reupholstered back in 1999 or 2000. So it's been at least 20 years since the floors and walls, I believe, have been painted. So that's done. We have the carpets cleaned. The pit area here, the new tech director for College Light Opera Company, Kristen Knutson, created a removable pit rail here. So this can be removed now, and it's faced with a Luan plywood panel that's painted black, so we don't have to cover that with a black curtain anymore. Ready? Now we'll take a look at the dressing room renovations. Follow me. In here, we can start with new floor. So we have new vinyl flooring put in. Has kind of the wood flooring texture or look to it, but it is vinyl. Very durable, high quality, so that should last quite a long time. We're in the process of finishing it, haven't quite finished, but there's going to be new lighting, strip lighting LED all the way along here, as well as continuous mirrors underneath.
Wonderful.
Shelving was increased in size by a couple inches, so it's a little wider. And new Formica added to the countertops.
So people understand the room that we're in right now is just backstage, and this is actually where people do costume changes and get ready to
Yes.
go in and go out. So
In fact, if she pans over, you can see all the way over to the side audience. That's the stage door where the audience or the cast members come in. That's the stage. And if you keep panning over, we have refitted the restrooms in the dressing room. So it has all new toilet, sink, vanity, walls.
So this was a pretty big undertaking, and obviously as a nonprofit, you rely on the generosity of your supporters and donors, and was that the case with this project?
Yes, in the case of the dressing rooms in particular, because that was not just cosmetic. Like out here it was paint and volunteers, so really just the cost of paint and hours of volunteers coming in to paint the walls, paint the floors. But in the dressing rooms, because we wanted to get new equipment in the dressing rooms and around the countertop area, we put up a fundraising drive. So donors probably about 75% of that, and then we got about another 25% of it paid for by grants from organizations like Martha's Vineyard Savings Bank, charitable organization, and Woods Hole Foundation, So it's been a combination.
A real community effort
Yes.
for a community theater group.
Yeah, but a lot of it was just sweat labor. It was
Yeah,
just
excellent.
getting paint, getting some lumber, which is not cheap anymore right now.
Right.
and just hours of people coming in and putting their hands to work to come up with this wonderful setting we have now.
Excellent. So Matt, you've been involved in the Falmouth Theatre Guild for decades. In fact, we've known each other since the early '80s when I was in the Fiddler on the Roof at the old Falmouth Playhouse.
Right.
So this project, this organization is really near and dear to your heart, and you've seen during the pandemic this incredible transformation. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's been amazing to see how much support we get in the community financially. So it chokes me up a little bit because it is near and dear to my heart. And the support we get from the community to do this kind of stuff may not seem like much to most people, but to us here, it means a lot.
Because you bring joy and hope to people sometimes when they don't have any, to be able to come here to this old barn that's transformed into this magical place when shows happen. It really is magical.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you walk in backstage and just the smell of it is, inspiring to me. And since I've been around, I'm not just an actor on the stage, I've done all the other stuff, including washing the toilets and stuff.
So you're really part of all aspects of the Falmouth Theatre
That's
Guild.
why it's called community theater.
I was just going to say, that's what community theater is all about. So the first Falmouth Theatre Guild production after this amazing renovation will be this fall, right here on the Kitty Baker stage. We're backstage in the tech room, and I am with Laura Garner and Rob Barrowman, respectively the director and the producer of their fall show, Carousel. So Laura, you must be excited for everyone to get back on stage. Carousel is an amazing, timeless production. Are you excited? Tell us a little bit about it.
I'm very excited, and I think it's a great show to come back with because it's so positive and hopeful. Although bad things happen in it, good things happen at the end, and I think it's a lovely story of hope and redemption.
It sure is. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark, right, Rob? And
exactly.
So,
it became a meme.
It did. It did.
Got us through COVID.
It did, and so that means a lot. The symbolism of a show like this, to be able to sort of step back into some sense of normality and to have community members both on stage and backstage here helping with the production, it has to have you very encouraged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was amazing to discover Falmouth Theatre Guild had never done that show before.
Yeah.
When you said that, I didn't believe you.
Yeah.
We all had to look it up.
I went back through the history and I was like, how can they never have done Carousel? That's amazing. So this is exciting because it's our first production of Carousel, too.
Yeah. Fantastic. I know you've cast the leads of the show already, and one of the interesting angles on that is that one of the leads in this version was actually in Carousel back at Falmouth High School some 35, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah, Bonnie Thorpe played Julie Jordan when she was in high school. And now she's playing Nettie Fowler, who's actually the hopeful character, the one that gets everybody through the storm. So she has a gorgeous voice, she has a huge range, and I'm very excited to be working with her again.
And Rob, stories like that really are what Falmouth Theatre Guild is all about, right? Matt and I were just talking about his involvement for 40 years or more in the productions he's been a part of. And a story like Bonnie's resonates too, because it shows that being part of a community theater group is a lifetime experience.
Exactly. I mean, that's what community is all about. And we have people that come in and they start on stage and then they become producers and work backstage and end up on the board, and we all become one big happy family.
My first experience at Highfield was 50 years ago when I was 13, and I came to my first clock performance when my sister was working in the box office. And a few years later, I was on the stage in Gypsy, and I played the lead in Music Man when I was 17. And then years later, I came back, and now I'm directing. So it's great.
That's just wonderful. A true community experience. So Laura tells a great story about her involvement for 50 years. Rob, we were just chatting, and you have a great story too about how your involvement with the Falmouth Theatre Guild began with one show, but then has really expanded to your
Exactly.
whole family.
So I'm kind of a newbie because we only started in 2008, I think. So I feel young. But it was actually Laura that got us started in Falmouth Theatre Guild. She directed Pirates of Penzance. And our son Zach, who was about that high at the time, wanted to be in theater, and my wife Robin wanted to try it. So they were both in her show, and Zach was your little pirate, scooting around and zooming between people's knees. He's now 21. And then the following fall was Peter Pan that Davian directed. So I thought, this sounds fun. I want to do something with Zach. So did that, which turned into Oliver, which turned into the family being fully involved for all these years. And it's a huge part of our life and one of the most wonderful things we do.
And we've heard stories about, as Laura told us and Matt Gould told us, that the Theatre Guild being part of families for generations. And it sounds like you're setting up your family to have that kind of involvement. That's great.
That's what makes it special.
That's what makes it special. So as we've heard, members of the community will gather here in this beautifully renovated theater this fall for the next production of the Falmouth Theatre Guild. And you know, this renovation isn't just about painting the walls and all of the amazing renovations they've done, but it's about continuing that family legacy, that experience that generations of Falmouthites can enjoy here in the Highfield Theatre and on the Kitty Baker stage behind me. So as we've heard from people who've been involved for a few years or a few decades, the Falmouth Theatre Guild is so much more than acting and singing and playing music. It's about creating memories and creating bonds that last generations. So I'll be here when the curtain opens on the next show, and we're really glad that we could show this tradition for you today, this shining tile in the mosaic that is Falmouth. I'm Falmouth Enterprise columnist Troy Clarkson, and that's my take from Highfield Theatre. Michael, the show must go on. Back to you.